It still trips me up every single time.
I know, me too. And Jane is already a coach. She signed up to coach, but
I just haven't
she's
done
also doing
anything
4
yet.
jobs and getting married. So
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
we've been focusing on her journey. So I'm glad
That's
she's on to
perfect.
hear more about
I got rid of 2.
transitioning into
I'm getting
coaching.
rid of 2 jobs in 2 weeks. So
That's
Yay!
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that is really helpful. Thank you, Jen, for clarifying that too, because that definitely helps understand the flow of what we're doing. So you and Casey are kind of in the same camp where you're busy, got a lot of life going on, but you're engaged in what you're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And share my screen. And each of us is Jen, Cece, and myself are going to talk a little bit tonight. And so when we each talk, Jen, Cece, I know we kind of didn't discuss this, but I'm just going to assume that you guys will share a little micro version of your story for the ladies on the call here tonight, just so that they understand who you are if they're unfamiliar. So I'm Danielle Porter. I am the elite coach leader of Team Nourished. So, and Casey and Jamie are a part of that. And so basically, I started coaching in November of 2014. I was a client or a customer to begin with. I really was very averse to the word coach. I did not feel worthy. I felt very I actually hated the word and told my coach, I was like, nope. I'm not a coach. I don't want to be a coach. I don't like it. Like, I know nothing. How could I ever coach anybody? And those of us that have been coaching, we're like, oh my gosh, that's not the point, right? But I didn't know that. And I think when you first start out, it's easy to get tripped up on that. And so I got very tripped up on it. And then I started my T25 journey and lost like 35 pounds and felt really good, like really, really good. People were starting to notice. But I still was so uncomfortable with the idea of coaching people. But finally in November, I got my head out of my butt and was like, all right, fine, I'll coach. I don't know what that means. I don't know anything about it, but fine, I'll sign up for the discount. I'll sign up to be a coach. And so obviously my coach was delighted in that and just was like, yes, finally, thank God, like you're seeing so many amazing results. I really want to help you pay that forward. And that's kind of where my journey began. I ended up going back to grad school, getting my master's degree in nutrition, getting several different nutrition certifications, honestly, because I just felt kind of inadequate. I felt like, again, I just did not have the qualifications to coach anyone. I felt like I had to have all of these accolades in order to share information. And what I ended up finding was it was not in all of those accolades that I became worthy or equipped. I was already equipped, because we talk about this a lot in coaching. There's nothing, like there's no one time in a coach or a person's journey where it's like, okay, this is exactly the moment where we need to start coaching other people. Literally, if you are one step ahead, if you've already pushed the enroll button, you are qualified to coach. That is really genuinely all it takes, is just a willingness to do your own journey and share that with other people and link arms with them and bring them along. It is not about accolades. It's not about any qualification or certification or anything like that. Like, do those things help? Sure, absolutely. Any depth of knowledge you may bring to the table is going to be a help. It's going to impact other people. But genuinely, the only thing you need to be equipped for is access to your own coach's boot camp or wellness group or whatever they call theirs. So I think Jen calls hers a wellness studio. I call mine a boot camp. I think Cece calls hers a boot camp, maybe, or a wellness studio. But they really, like, you need access to that. And you need a willingness to get uncomfortable for like 20 seconds. If you've ever read Mel Robbins' book, The 5-Second Rule, she talks about like the 5 seconds of being uncomfortable can change somebody's life. And this, Jamie, when I was saying, like, I was talking about you at the Bible study last night, that was the purpose of what I was sharing. I was telling them, I felt a nudge. I felt very called one morning to share a portion of my story that I had never shared before. I went on social media, took a photo, wrote out a little bit of my story, not the whole long, saga version, but I wrote out a bit of my story where I was really in a place where I was considering having weight loss surgery. I was very overweight. I felt very out of control and unable to gain any sense of control in my own journey. And I just felt this nudge, like, no, you need to try this in a holistic, sustainable way. And so I shared that, and Jamie reached out to me. Like, that's all it took. It took that 5 seconds of braveness to share a piece of my story that now, I mean, Jamie, what are you down? I know it's over 100. I don't know if you've continued to keep up with it, but you're what?
102.
102 pounds. Like, y'all, Jamie's story, it like gives me chills. She has changed her entire life, all because I said one thing. That's all coaching is. It literally is that simple. And I think we get really tripped up in the semantics of it and the business side of it, and we lose the ability to see that it's genuinely just paying forward the opportunity and the gift that you were given. And sure, there are some business strategy things about it. Jen's going to talk some about finance. Cece's going to talk about like why our team is a little different, and all of that. But at its heart and at its core, it's genuinely just paying forward the opportunity that you were given. That's all I do every day on this basis. I was talking on my team call, I think it was 2 weeks ago, about, I was, just sharing with them, like all of the business side of things, all of the marketing, all of the busy work of business. It needs to outflow from a place of, I genuinely want other people to feel the way that I feel right now. Like, I remember feeling uncomfortable or unable to walk up the steps without dying of like being out of breath. I remember the fear that I felt when my toddler would climb in one of those tubes at a, like the indoor play parks at like the McDonald's play centers or the Chick-fil-A play centers. And I was so terrified because I was just afraid they were going to get stuck in there. And then I would have to climb up in there and get them out. And I did not think I could fit. And so regaining control of my own personal journey, the outflow of that is literally what's built this 6-figure elite business. Like, that's where this has come from. And it's not, you don't have to have a really big weight loss transformation. It can be about energy. It can be about getting rid of diabetes medication. It can be about confidence. It can be about any of those things, any measure of transformation, your mental health, your mindset, your view on the world, the way you parent your children, any of those transformations. We can all look around our world right now and see that people are desperate for that. And how selfish of us to hold on to something that we've experienced, whether that's in the wellness studios, whether that's in the boot camp. Like, I feel this desperate desire to share that excitement with other people. So not couple of things. I wanted to start with, and this is the basics. So when Jen, Cece, and I were putting together this call and with our teams, and I'm like, so what do we talk about? Like, is this call going to be geared toward people who have never been coaches before? Is this call going to be geared toward people who already are coaches? Or is this call going to be geared toward people who are already in the boot camp, but not enrolled as a coach? They only enrolled as a customer. Here's the reality, guys. It doesn't matter. It does not matter if you have been doing this 1 day or 1,000 days. These 4 things are what we do. Everything we do comes out of these 4 things. And I think, and we'll talk a little bit about this. Like, I know Cece will touch on, like, again, how our teams are different and what we have to offer and that kind of thing. But everything here is trainable. You just have to put in the work. I mean, and it's not as long as you think it is. It really, if you were to focus on, adding 10 minutes a day into working on your personal development, number 2 here on the 4 vital behaviors, 10 minutes a day doesn't seem like a lot. I mean, and like, excuse my like brashness, but 10 minutes is the time. I would say it takes my husband to poop, but that's like, he could finish a whole book in there. Like, 10 minutes of audio book while you're using the bathroom or taking a shower, like, you can add that time into your day. But 10 minutes in one day plus 10 minutes the next day plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, you're at over an hour at the end of the week. Like, if you just committed to those small things. But we think, I feel like we get trapped into the belief that those small little things don't end up adding up in the end. And the reality is, it's those small things that are what make this work. So our 4 vital behaviors, the 4 pillars on which kind of our business stands, is being proof the product works, which every single one of you on this call, I know I just saw Shay or Shy pop on. Shy, Jamie, Casey, you guys are in my boot camp. Jane, you're with Jen. Like, you all have some measure of progress already, right? Like, you've either lost weight, you've gained energy, you've gained confidence, like you have been impacted in a positive direction in one thing. That's being proof the product works. You just literally do your challenge and do your accountability every single day, which I am assuming I know the girls on my boot camp are, you're already doing that. Like, this is the thing about coaching. So many people are like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to coach. I can't do that. And I'm like, but you're already doing it. Like, you're already doing it. You just aren't necessarily doing it in a way that generates income for you, you know? So being proof the product works, personal development, which is just that internal transformation, right? Like, you can do all the sit-ups you want and eat all the kale you want, but if your mind is screwed up, like, you're never going to be able to move forward. And so personal development is a solid pillar on which our business stands. Connect, engage, and invite. Those are the actual like business building things. And I would wager a guess that if you have been involved in a boot camp in some way for a little while, you might do 1 or 2 or 3 of these, but you might not do the one that actually produces you income. So that's what we train you to do. That's what we teach you how to do, is connect, engage, and invite. And then number 4 is recognition. And that's genuinely just recognizing the people on your team. It's getting excited for the girls in your boot camp, even if they're not your own personal client. It's engaging in there. It's celebrating those wins. It's shouting them out, you know, on maybe your social media or something like that, but in a way that, again, you know, and I know it sounds so trendy, but like, women or empowered women empower other women, but that's recognition. Right? Like, that's me talking about, like, and it doesn't have to be on social media. I think a lot of it comes from that because it's like a free marketing source. Like, you don't have to pay to have a Facebook account. You don't have to pay to have an Instagram account. But like, I think about, again, like, I'm at the kids' school and I'm talking about, you know, Casey, who's done this in our boot camp and how amazing she is. Or I'm talking about, somebody tells me in the grocery store about how they've dealt with chronic back pain their whole life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my friend Cece, she, you know, and I talk about that. That's recognition. That's sharing and empowering other people through our stories. So that's the 4 pillars on which our business is built. And like I said, the main one that maybe, again, if you have been a part of a boot camp or wellness studio before, that you just kind of haven't touched base with. And again, that's the one that most likely will bring you income here. Not, you know, you can do all the workouts you want, but if nobody ever knows you're doing them, it's kind of hard to get an income out of that. But connecting, engaging, inviting, that's sharing what's going on your social medias. That's inviting your friend that you meet for a play date at the park with into our boot camp because she's upset about, I don't know, whatever, she doesn't have any energy, or her jeans are too tight, or, you know, whatever it is. But it's listening for those opportunities to solve a problem. And then sometimes it's just flat out going out and inviting people. I mean, that's something that, as I've grown my business to outside of my direct line of speaking, like the people that I directly interact with every day, it's taking that time to intentionally go out and say, like, hey, I don't know if this would interest you or not, but I do have this boot camp that's starting on Monday. This is the, you know, very micro version of this is how it's impacted my life. Can I send you some more info? It's literally that simple. People get nervous, they overtalk, they do all these things. But if you follow the system that we teach, it is very, very simple. I wanted to show you guys, especially since all of you are already engaged in the boot camp. I want to show you what my team has been doing this past week, or this past month, excuse me. So this is one of the resources, and I'm going to actually stop share so it's a little bit bigger for you guys. This is one of the resources that my team uses. It's called the Power 30 Tracker, and it literally makes exactly what I'm talking about with connecting, engaging, the most simple thing you could possibly do. It takes 30 minutes a day. And it's something that, like, if you made a priority and you were to follow that tracker every day for 30 days and 30 minutes a day, I guarantee you your business would grow. You would see income come into your family. And maybe that all that means is that you're covering the cost of your Shakeology every month. Great. That's wonderful. Or maybe that means you want to pay for your kids' private school. And this is the way that you do that. Maybe this means, like, I don't know, I want to take my whole family to Disney World on a luxury vacation, like whatever it is that you have in your heart that you want to help your family or yourself do, this is a wonderful way for you to be able to do that and impact other people in it. It genuinely is. And I say this a lot because like the number one thing I get is like, well, I don't want to sell anything. And I'm like, I never feel, if I feel like I'm selling something, I'm not doing my job. I am serving. I am a service provider. I am not a salesperson. If it were up to me, I would love to give this away for free. But the reality is it's the world and things cost money. Like things don't appear out of thin air for no money. Like things cost money, and there's no shame in needing money to accomplish the goals that you have. If that's turning your lights on, or if that's putting food on your family's table, there should be no shame in earning an income from something that you love. I mean, to me, that's a calling versus a job kind of thing. So I just wanted to share that before I kick it over to Jen. She's going to talk about the finances, and I will screen share really quick again and go to the next slide. Boop. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you guys. So glad you guys are here. So we're going to talk a little bit about income. We're going to talk about like your cost to get started and those sorts of things. And sometimes sometimes people feel a little weird talking about money, but everybody needs money, right? Money pays our bills. Money is like our life. Money, yeah, we just need it. So we're going to talk about it tonight. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat and I can look at those as we go through it. But there's several different ways that we earn income. The first way, obviously, when you're first getting started, a majority of your paycheck is going to be through commissions because, like Danielle said, we are in the service industry, but we serve people through programs, right? We serve people through programs, which are our fitness programs, our nutrition programs. And then we also have products that come with all the enrollment bundles that really help people dial in their results. So you earn a commission off of those enrollment bundles, off of those programs, off of apparel, some of the cool clothes you see Danielle and Cece and I wearing. You earn a commission off of that. You earn commission off of the mom crack you see us enjoying and Shakeology and all of those things. So when you're first getting started, most of your paycheck is going to come from commission. And as people continue to order their products, continue to stay on Beachbody On Demand, continue to love the nutrition programs, then it becomes commission, but it's like a residual income. So as they continue to order, you keep earning that commission. And then as you start getting into more of the building of a successful team, you tap into level 2 of the compensation plan, which is earning what we call the team cycle bonus. And I think most of you guys that are on here, I think, I'm not sure about Samantha, are already coaches, so you may be familiar, but team cycle bonus is just how you start earning an income as you start building a team, whether it's a team of preferred customers or discount coaches or builders just like you wanting to build this business. It is the second way that we get compensated, and it's based off of the volume that your team is building and bringing into the whole conglomerate of Beachbody, which is really cool. And then we also get into quarterly bonuses. So as you start developing leaders, so Cece and Danielle and I are Star Diamond coaches. So as you start building leaders that have teams of leaders, then it really starts to get fun and you start getting into what we call those quarterly bonuses. And the quarterly, like Danielle has down here, the quarterly profit sharing opportunities are based on rank and leadership growth within the company, and those are also available. So if you guys ever wanted to see more of the compensation plan in detail, if you are already currently coaches, you can go to your coach online office and go under support, and the compensation plan is listed out in detail there for you for sure. So the main ways that we earn when you first get started is commission, then team cycle bonus, and then you dive into the kind of the quarterly bonuses there. Another screen. I'm not sure what's on the next screen. Oh, okay. So that's more the time commitment. So we'll go back and talk a little bit more about, so also as a coach, you do earn a 25% off discount. So I think all of you that are already enrolled are enjoying 25% off your Shakeology, your Energize, the 3-day refresh that we're getting ready to do, after Labor Day. So you also get your discount. You also have the opportunity to earn some amazing trips like these pictures that you're seeing here. Like we were just in Austin, right? We went to Austin for a coach summit. We are going to, where are we going? Scottsdale. The screen keeps changing and just picking out. Scottsdale, it's okay. I'm like, where am I supposed to be looking? We're going to Scottsdale in at the end of September. We've taken like our spouses to Mexico on cruises. So you have the opportunity to earn trips that are sponsored by our team and by your coach, but then you also have trips that you can earn that are sponsored by Beachbody. And the Beachbody trips are really, really fun because you get to not just be with your team, but you really get to see the whole corporate side of Beachbody, and they are just like have the biggest hearts, and they really love us coaches, and they spoil us. And you can earn the Success Club trip by just helping 3 people a month. 3 people. It's just such a doable trip to earn, and it's you plus one. So you could bring your best friend, your husband, your sister, your mom, a coach, and Beachbody pays for you and them to be there. You typically pay for your flight there, but then they pay for everything once you're there. So it's really cool just for helping 3 people. So if that's not an incentive to help 3 people a month, I'm not sure what is, because I didn't think I was going to be like motivated by trips, but I'm really motivated by trips because I really like to travel, especially with this crew that we have here. So we have the discount, we have commission, team cycle bonus, quarterly bonuses, and the trips. So those are the 5 ways that we were typically compensated. So let's talk more about the enrollment bundle real quickly, because I think everybody here is already enrolled. But typically we enroll most of our customers or coaches with a challenge pack, a starter kit. So that comes with 12 months of access to all of your Beachbody on demand, comes with 12 months of access to the world-class nutrition programs that we have and we're all getting results with. It comes with either your Shakeology or the Performance Stack, or there's a bundle, the deluxe bundle that comes with both. Your portion control containers, the control track for control track if you get the 9-week Control Freak bundle. Otherwise, this one is showing $645, which is on sale this month, so you get the Power Loops. So there's always some sort of program launching current where this bundle may change a little bit, but your coach will know what you should be enrolling people with and what you might enroll with as well. And you also get 30 days of our free subscription to Body Guide. So there's never been a better time to be a coach. We just went public. We're merging with a cycling company that's going to like give Peloton a run for their money. We're launching these interactive workouts, which are just so cool. We're expanding internationally and we're continuing to bring more products and programs. We actually snagged one of Peloton's best instructors, Jennifer Jacobs, and she has a new program starting at the end of this year. So there's never been a better time or more exciting time to be a coach with Beachbody. And then also, as you get started, that comes with that cost, you also get access to your coach's wellness group. You get a business website, you get our team training pages, you get coach mentorship, weekly team calls, mentorship pods, quarterly and yearly events. You get so much value, especially as a business owner, for like $160, which is just kind of bananas. And then your month 2 cost is typically going to be any products that you continue to stay on, and then your coaching fee. So like for me, the coaching fee, I think of that as my like human resources department, my customer service department, and my IT department, all for $15.95. They handle all my inventory. They handle reports in my back office. If I'm having issues with my website or anything technology, I just get them on Facebook Messenger and they fix it. So as a business owner, when I know I was looking to do like a brick and mortar business as a physical therapist, because that's my background, like a customer service department and a billing department and like inventory and ordering and all that stuff, that was a lot more expensive than $15.95 a month. And I will say, if you are a military affiliate in any way, or your spouse is, then that fee is waived as a working coach, as a coach. So, which is really, really cool. I neglected to share some of my story. So for those of you that don't know me, I jumped right into the money, got excited. I've been a physical therapist for 22 years. I am a 47-year-old mama of 2 middle school kids. My daughter enters middle school and my son's going to be in 8th grade. I still work full-time as a physical therapist and have been coaching for 6 years. Met Cece and Danielle through Beachbody and through coaching at one of our events, and they're like my very best friends now. We do all things like this together. We travel together. We talk on Marco Polo like 30,000 times a day. I truly couldn't imagine even being or doing life without them. But my story started 6 years ago when I was 25 pounds overweight. I was in a high-level leadership position at my home health agency here. And I would come home every day. I'd snap at my kids, yell at my husband, go in my closet and cry, or go to bed because I was just exhausted. I had no energy to play with my kids that I had just gotten from daycare, that all they wanted was mommy time. I was struggling, I was depressed, and I was hiding behind big, huge baggy clothes because I did not feel good in my body. I certainly didn't feel passionate with my husband. And my sister-in-law is Moira, for those of you that know her, and she asked me several times to do this for myself, and I kept saying no, I'm too busy, not going to work, pyramid scheme, too expensive, I don't have time, all of the things that I'm sure a lot of you have thought. But what switched is that she asked me to do this to help her. And for most of us, women especially, we'll do anything to help somebody before we help ourselves, right? That's just what we do. So at that point, I said yes. I'm like, she needs my help, so I'm going to go do it. And I don't know if she did that on purpose or if she really needed my help, but it changed the trajectory of my life. It has changed my family's life. It has changed us financially. It's changed me from the inside out. I started losing weight. I started pulling myself out of the depression. I started showing up for other women, which made me show up for myself. And went off my antidepressants, lost the 25 pounds, building a successful business, yada, yada, yada. But the thing that changed, I want you guys to think about this as you're diving into coaching and thinking about who you want to do this for. Sometimes people are not going to do it for themselves, but if you ask them to do it to support you or to be your guinea pig, or let's do this together, I need your help in my group, and maybe they'll say yes. And you know that they're going to be doing it for themselves. And just think of my story, because I said no to me forever, right? I was so used to saying no to me. I was like the martyr. I'm not going to take care of me. But when she said she needed help, that's what flipped the switch for me. So if you guys have any question about the financial stuff, please drop them in the chat and we'll be happy to answer any at the end too. So.
Yay, that's awesome. I was getting ready to remind you. I'm like, Jen, you didn't talk about yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Up a little bit.
No, well, hey y'all, I'm Cece, and like Jen mentioned, I have been coaching for 6 years. I really fell into this. This is not anything that I ever thought I'd do. It's hard to believe, but 6 years ago, I really had hit rock bottom with my health. So for me, this is more of a health transformation. Even though I had gained a lot of weight for me in a short amount of time, I was still, I don't think I was underweight. I think I finally was not underweight for the first time in my life. And I was like of normal weight, but I was just so unhealthy. I had been in chronic pain for over 3 years due to a herniated disc in my low back. I'd been living off of, I mean, you name it, I took it, whether it was a prescription or over-the-counter anti-inflammatory, steroid, muscle relaxer. I had multiple steroid epidurals. I truly was living Groundhog Day. I would wake up every morning and I'd be like, how many hours until I can put my kids to bed? And I didn't mention them, but I'm 47, almost 48, and I have 3 kids. They are all autistic and they have a variety of needs. 2 of them have other needs, and then 1 is having some very complex medical issues. So they keep me very, very busy. But 6 years ago, I just really had hit rock bottom. My back actually was in an okay place because I had been through, I think, 2 or 3 steroid epidurals, and usually 2 would get me to a good place and I'd be good. But then I started having really bad stomach problems. So I went in for an endoscopy and colonoscopy, and the doctor put me on a restricted diet and told me, like, one of the worst things I think I've ever heard in my life. He said, you can no longer take any of these medications for your back. You're killing your stomach. And as someone who had been in chronic pain, like, I always had those medications with me. I traveled with them. I was so scared of life without them. And so when he told me, like, you've got to stop taking them, I just thought, how am I going to function? Like, how am I going to show up as a mom? How am I going to function? And one of the days where I always did the same little routine. I would get my kids, up, we'd do something for the day. And actually at this point in time, I was having these really bad stomach episodes. So we weren't making it far away from home, but we were always at home from like 1 to 4 so that I could nap. And I would put Blue's Clues on, and we had this DVD. There was a loop that was like 3 hours long, and I would put the Blue's Clues thing on, and I would fall asleep on the sofa. But what I would always do before I would fall asleep is I would scroll Facebook. I was scrolling Facebook one day, and there's this acquaintance that I had met at a baby shower, Moira, and I saw this picture, and I remember meeting her at the baby shower, and I knew she was an entrepreneur. I knew she owned her own business. And I was raised by an entrepreneur. My mom growing up always had her own businesses. I ended up marrying an entrepreneur. And at the time, my husband was actually working for someone else, but it was always his dream to have his own business and for us to have a business together. So anytime I complain about something, he would be like, what kind of business could this be? Let's make this into a business. What kind of product could this be? And I was always like, business world, not for me. I do not want to go in the business world. Before I had kids, I worked with abused and neglected children. And so I was in social work, and then I was in publishing, and like business to me, I was like, absolutely not. I want nothing to do with business. And, but there was something so appealing about what Moira presented on social media. And I saw it and I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but I was just like, I want that. And at the time, since I was so miserable having all these health issues, she said that she was doing a boot camp. Well, boot camp is like one of the worst words for me ever. And when Danielle said, like, I think Cece calls her a boot camp, I'm like, no, I do not. I do not call mine a boot camp. I do not. Because I would not do a boot camp. But back then on the stuff when I was scrolling, I was so miserable. I was like, a boot camp, like that's what I've got to do. A boot camp sounds miserable and horrible. And like, this is what I have to do. I have to go on a diet and I have to do this boot camp thing because like I'm 42. I'd gained 12 pounds. It felt like it was all in my middle. I was lethargic. I was I was rock bottom. I was living with all these dark, miserable what ifs every day. And then I was like, okay, boot camp and diet. That's what I've got to do. So as soon as I started rolling my eyes, and I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done. Like, I'm going to these doctors. Like, had been going to doctors for years for all my issues. And I just thought like, this is, I just have to take all these prescription medications now. And luckily I'm a rule follower. So when Moira said, you're gonna get this box and this is what you're gonna do and you're gonna follow it, I was like, yes, okay, I will follow it. And by day 4, I woke up, and I call it my day 4 magical moment. So for someone like me who came in like health rock bottom, and I didn't mention this, but the reason why boot camp to me was like, I hate exercise. I was raised on junk food. I was raised by a single mom. Like if it came in a can, like we ate it. Like Hardee's drive-through, like that's what I ate growing up, was junk food, Chef Boyardee, Pop-Tarts. Like that's just how I was raised. And I was not active at all. And so, like for me, that day 4 magical moment, like I felt so good. I was compelled to share it with others. And that's all I've ever thought coaching was. Like Moira never approached me and said, do you want to be a coach? I mean, she never did. I felt so good on day 4 that I just was compelled to share it with others. I thought, oh my God, like, do other women need to know about this? And it was funny because when I told my best friend, okay, I'm doing Beachbody, she was like, Cece, I've been doing Beachbody for years. I'm like, you have? I'd never heard of it before. But I knew that there would be other women like me who would resonate with my story and that I could bring them on. And so anyway, that is not the short version of my story, but I think it's important to tell because I did not get into this to start a business. I was very anti-business. I was very anti-exercise. I was very anti-health. I was anti-everything. But lo and behold, what I found in this community, what I found in this opportunity, what I found in this for me physically and emotionally and just in every way, shape, or form has like blown me away with how my life has changed. And in terms of the business opportunity, like I said, I'm married to an entrepreneur. Since I started coaching, he and I bought a business together. And like Jen had mentioned, like brick and mortar kind of stuff, like we took out a 6-figure loan to open this business. We had no idea. We bought it at the end of 2018. We were so optimistic. We had no idea COVID was coming. We had no idea what was going to happen to our business in March of 2020. Like March 2020, our business like imploded. We still owe 6 figures on it. And it's insane, like what the blood, sweat, and tears and all the things we poured into it. And we didn't make any difference really in the income with the business. Coaching, from day 1, I have had an impact. From day 1, I was able to earn income. In terms of pure business opportunity, which like, again, if you're like me, I was like business. I am not interested in business. I don't want to run my own business. I just want to help people. I've always been a helper. And luckily I realized, well, wow, this is actually kind of fun to get paid for helping people. And in turn, it really helps myself because normally I would not stick with this. Normally, this is not anything I would do. And for someone like me, this is kind of like the ideal job. Even though I'm like least likely ever to do something like this, it really has become the most perfect job for me because it is how I stay consistent. Like I will tell you right now, left to my own devices, I would have not have stuck with this for 6 years. The reason why I stick with this, the reason why I'm still seeing success, the reason why I'm still working out, the reason why I'm still sticking to things and eating healthy and doing all the things and feeling really good and about to turn 48 and stronger than ever is because I decided to coach. It is not because like that's just inherent in me and okay, like yeah, I would be doing this anyway. I would not be doing this, y'all. Right now I'd be sitting on the sofa eating ice cream, waiting for my kids to go to bed, probably eating ice cream and having a glass of wine at the same time, and I would just still be a mess. So it's this business and it's this coaching opportunity, it's this team, it's this community, it's the challenge group, it's the boot camp that keeps me accountable for me, which it's the most amazing job ever. And then to get even more specific about how we are different and what this team does, we bring you in, we nurture you, we mentor you. We're a part of like one of the most, if not the most powerful team in all of Beachbody, which means we have a ton of resources, both like really specific Beachbody resources. We have corporate mentors that come and help you earn more money, to like people like Trent Shelton, who come in and like give us uplifting speeches, to, Brent Johnson, who talks about Instagram or whatever. So the training is there. No, like you can come in with any kind of background, you can come in with any kind of experience, and hands down, you absolutely can make it work because you will have the support and the encouragement. And this community, the way I always like to describe it is, it truly is the safest place to fail. I mean, you will get cheered on, picked up. Like these ladies, they do not let me sit in my what for too long, but they encourage me and inspire me. And when I think about like my mom, for instance, one of the reasons why when my husband would tell me like, oh, let's do a business together, I grew up seeing my mom as this one woman show. She was doing this in the 70s when not a lot of women were doing what she was doing. She was doing it by herself. She was pouring her blood, sweat, and tears. Like she was working 24/7. She was making so many sacrifices, like an insane number of sacrifices for a business that she wasn't really sure if it was ever going to make it. And it was always feast or famine growing up. And so I grew up with that. And I was like, yeah, business, no. I want something stable like social work. But this business, the way you build it, that you get to build it and you get to do it. Like I have my brand, Danielle has her brand, Jen has her brand. Like I think if you look at the three of us, you'll be like, wow, they're really all three coaches and they all have the same job, because it doesn't look like it. We can put our own spin. We have our own niches. We do it our own way. But the beauty is we get to do it together, and we get to do it with the backing of $1 billion company. So we have that infrastructure. We have the support, the training, the products, the programming, everything. And then we take that and make it into what is meaningful and significant to us. And then we go and build our own business again, while linking arms with other women who are empowering us and supporting us and encouraging us, which to me, like, I didn't want to do business like my mom had done business. This is how I want to do business, with amazing women around me, backed by an amazing company. So there's way less risk. You don't have to take out a 6-figure loan. You don't have to be customer service and shipping and receiving and tech support and everything else. Like you get to do what I think unites, I dare say, all women together. And that is making a difference in this world. And you make it by helping other women feel really, really good and have more energy to go out there and in turn do beautiful things. So, and my alarm my bedtime alarm's going off now. So next steps, Jen had that slide that she put up that talks about the package, which I think everybody, which I know some of you are going to be watching the recording and this is applicable, but that's all you have to do to get started. Like all you have to do is get started on you. And I really cannot emphasize enough that the most important part and the way you start a business is focusing on you and your journey first. So even if you've been doing this for a little bit, let's say you're like, oh, well, I just kind of started and I didn't really know what I was doing. Like, just dive into it and give it 100% and see what it can do for you personally. Because honestly, I have never for one day felt like I was selling, because I woke up on that day 4 and my life was transformed. I kind of left this part out, but I was waking up feeling, again, every morning I was waking up at 7 a.m. thinking, how many hours until I put my kids to bed? How many hours? What do we have to do today? I don't have the, and I woke up on day 4 and that was the first day I didn't nap. That was the first day that I felt really good. And I just felt like that was the first day that like all the negative what ifs, I started having like a positive what if. And I was like, what if this wacky 21-day program actually works? Like, I feel amazing. What if Shakeology is really going to be good for me? Like all these what ifs started coming every single day. And all because I just took a chance and just said, okay, yes, I'm going to do this for 21 days and I'm just going to see. And so because of that, because I had that personal transformation, and again, my transformation, it happened on day 4. You don't have to wait until, you have these before and after pictures to have a transformation. You don't have to wait until you lose 100 pounds. Your transformation truly can be, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when you've had this aha moment of, wow, this is what real self-care feels like. And I know other women need to know how easy and achievable it is. And so if y'all have any questions, feel free to unmute, feel free to drop it in the chat.
Thank you for sharing all of that, Cece. I had totally forgotten the part of your story where you hate the word boot camp. I was like, oh, and I caught myself because I was like, she does not call it a boot camp. I'm positive.
And I was like on mute at the time and I couldn't find the button. I was like, I don't call it a boot camp. Every now and then, I have had something like I have my easy button boot camp right now, just because that sounds better than easy button wellness group, like every now and then I'll use it, but I still feel like I need to preface it to people and say, listen, it's not like a boot camp. I just always had these friends that would wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and go outside when it was freezing cold to meet for these boot camps. And to me, like that, I think of boot camp and I think like 5 a.m. in the dark, in the cold in Atlanta at a park where there are homeless people. And I'm like, that is what I think about. Like, so anyway, so yeah, I don't use that word much, but
it's so funny. Oh my goodness. Well, and I mean, like I said at the beginning of the call, I know, and Samantha is a coach as well on our team. So I know that all of you guys know the power of what we have to offer, right? Like, the power of the wellness studio. You're in there. I know all of the people from my team on here already have results. I've seen your results. You've shared them with me. You've shared them in our group. To make this a business, you literally just invite people into that group. And I know I speak for Cece and Jen in saying that my team especially, I know operates more on like an apprentice program. Like, I don't expect you, like if today you're like, okay, I want to do this, I want to like go for it and see what I can do in a year. I'm not going to be like, okay, let's go set up your own boot camp right away. Like, no way. You invite them into our boot camp and we grow them, and you encourage them within that safe space that's already created for you until you feel on your feet enough to go out and start your own. Sometimes for some people that's in the first 30 days. For some people it took them a year. I am not one that's like, all right, get out of the nest. Like, you got to go. I feel very strongly that when it's time. And I feel like my team has a close enough relationship where I feel very connected to like, okay, you are dragging your feet on this. It's time to start your own. But that really genuinely comes from just sharing your own experience. That's making some posts on Facebook. That's maybe listening in on team calls on Thursday night for us. I know y'all's is on Mondays. And getting in the middle of the bed, as Moira says, like just figuring it out as you go along and realizing you don't have to have all the answers. That's why you have an upline coach. That's why Jen and Cece and I are here.
Well, and really, like, I hesitate to say this sometimes because I don't want to, like, you know, knock myself, but like, I have zero background in health and fitness. Like Danielle has a master's in nutrition. We have a physical therapist, and then it was like couch potato that like grew up on junk food and like hates exercise. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I do always just want to make it clear that, like, if I can do this, anyone can. All it took was me having that day 4 magical moment, and then I was just so excited to share that with others. And I've always found excitement and joy in all of it, and sharing with others, of connecting with new people, reconnecting with old friends. And like, that's how I built a business, is on excitement, because I surely have not built it on experience, and I have not built it on my love of healthy food and exercise either. It has truly been on excitement, and that's contagious. And that's what people want. People don't necessarily, I mean, you know, people don't necessarily need like an amazing transformation. They just want to be, you know, they don't need to see you having an amazing transformation. They just like, they want that energy. They want that excitement. They want that happiness. They want that, you know, thing that you can't quite put your finger on, you know, and it's like, I'll have what she's having. So don't doubt that you, I mean, it's really how you can build a business, and it couldn't be easier.
Well, and I was gonna say, the other thing that it is not built on is people who have a whole lot of time. Like, Jen works full time. Cece has, like she said, 3 special needs children and a life that is just absolutely bananas at all time. So it's not like this is only for people who are stay-at-home moms who, you know, their kids go to school and they have 5 hours while their kids are at school. I mean, this can literally be done in the cracks of your day. Like I said, this tracker that my team is using right now is a 30-minute a day tracker. Like, put up some social media posts and 30 minutes a day in building your business. I mean, in an effort that you can make in that small incremental amount. I mean, again, if that brought in $50, $100, $300, $500 in a month, like, how would that significantly impact your family? Would that be, you know, putting away for a trip to Disney World? Would that be for, you know, I know for my Hawaii girls, like a trip home, that kind of thing. Casey, what do the 30 minutes do? Like, what are you doing to check them off? Yeah, so this tracker, and I explain it in our team call. I can send you the call I did on it. It's literally a step-by-step thing where, and the other thing here, I'll show you. This tracker is a very micro simplified version of, oops, hold on. Now I can't scroll on this thing. I'm not very good at, of this. So this is the business activity tracker that we do, and it's built on an hour. So and basically it's built for an hour, but this is this piece of it right here. This, like, it's this piece simplified. So it literally takes you step by step in how to do a social media post that showcases the benefits of your healthy lifestyle. Like, they say that should take 10 minutes. Like, we all know you can make a social media post in 5, right? Like, it should be that quick. Updating your IG story throughout the day, what, 30 seconds a piece? Like, it does not take that long to do these things. Response to likes and comments on your posts, like, it should not take you 25 minutes. This piece, which is expanding your network and inviting new people to join you, should be the piece that you spend the majority of your time doing, because that is the piece that actually provides income, right? Like, that's the piece that's going to bring income in. So, and I talk about it a lot on our team calls, but I'll share again a very short version here. There's a front end part of your business and a back end part of your business. This is the back end. This is connecting with people, inviting people. Like I said, when I said, like, what does an invitation sound like? Hey, Casey, hope you're having a really good summer. I know you guys are getting ready to start back to school. Hey, I don't know if you saw my post recently or not about our upcoming boot camp, but would you like some more information about joining us, or about our wellness studio, or whatever? Like, literally, that's an invitation. And I leave it at that. And they either say yes, they ignore me, or they say no. Like, it's not that complicated. And so that is what connects us to growing our business. So hopefully that answered your question. Yeah. And we provide, like, This tracker is in our group, in our team page, the business activity tracker in our team page. Like you guys have access. It's funny because if you're already a coach, you already have access to this. You just don't realize it because, you know, like Shai and I were talking about, like sometimes it's just not your priority. Like you really, you know, you're just going along your merry way, doing your boot camp, getting your results. You know, she has an event planning business that does these insane parties, which PS, you are already like on tap to do our diamond retreat. Like I'm going to get a whole balloon background. Like your parties are freaking amazing. And I'm like, I know most of them are for kids, but like, I want them for myself. I know adult parties sound icky though. So we'll just say like grown-up parties. But this is just an added stream of income into that, something to supplement some. And again, it doesn't even have to be, sometimes, yes, it is big, giant goals of retiring your husband from the military and like these like crazy, amazing goals. And sometimes it's genuinely, I just feel called to share my story with other people and see how that can impact them. And yeah, it costs something, and yeah, I make an income from it, but it can be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be big, grand things. So. Jen, did you want to say anything since
No,
we're ready to close up? No?
no.
Awesome. All right, ladies. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate you taking your time out and hopping on and learning more about what it means to be a coach and earn an income with this. Whatever questions you have, feel free to message the coach that invited you to this call or sent you the recording, and we will get you connected to what you need. So you guys have a good night. Thank you again for joining.